How you guys doing today? And welcome back to Book of Hebreo. And today we're gonna talk about how an undrafted quarterback saved Philadelphia Eagles season. Beginning of 2019 season, Greg Ward Jr. was actually on the practice squad of Philadelphia Eagles roster. He was in and out of the squad. With injury piling up and messy start in Eagles team, Greg Ward Jr. was promoted to active roster on November 23, 2019. He saved the Eagles season by just helping them in the receiving side of the game. Gregory Mario Ward Jr. was born in Tyler, Texas on July 12, 1995. His father, Greg Ward Sr., is a pastor at the Pentecostal Porter's Chapel Church of God in Christ, while his mother, Mary Ward, is a housewife. Greg and Mary Ward had 4 boys. Greg Ward Jr. was the third child of the 4 boys. Greg Ward Jr. went to John Tyler High School. Being a versatile athlete, he played both the wide receiver and the quarterback position. He played wide receiver in his sophomore year, and he actually had a decent stat. He caught 53 receptions for 667 yards. By his junior and senior seasons, he started as a quarterback for John Tyler Lions. He passed for 7,798 yards and 71 touchdowns with only 10 interceptions. He also rushed for 2,073 with 31 rushing touchdowns. On November 9, 2012, John Tyler High School faced White House High School for district championship. The White House Wildcats was led by Patrick Mahomes, who eventually became the 2019 MVP for NFL. Greg Ward Jr. had a great game. He threw for 323 yards with 4 passing touchdowns and rushed for 162 yards with 1 rushing touchdown. Patrick Mahomes also had an impressive game. He threw for 441 yards with 4 touchdowns. John Tyler Lions beat the White House Wildcats. The final score was 45-38. By the end of his high school career, Greg Ward Jr. was the 2013 Texas High School Player of the Year. Compared to Ohio State University or University of Oklahoma, the University of Houston is not included in the list of powerhouse schools when it comes to football. Only few schools offered him scholarship. Only Houston, Memphis, Rice, New Mexico, Houston Baptist, and Southern Methodist in 2013. In his freshman year, he joined the University of Houston as a backup quarterback and a backup wide receiver for the team. He had an okay season because he was a backup, where he threw for 310 yards with 1 passing touchdown and rushed for 176 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. He also had 95 receiving yards with 1 receiving touchdown. By sophomore year, Greg started as a wide receiver and caught 15 receptions for 139 yards with 1 receiving touchdown. In 2014, Greg became the official starting quarterback for Houston Cougars, replacing John O'Korn. In just 10 games, he threw for 2,010 yards with 12 passing touchdowns. He also rushed for 573 yards with 6 rushing touchdowns. In 2015, he led his team to 11 wins and 1 loss record, where they faced the Temple University with 10 wins and 2 losses record. Houston Cougars defeated the Temple Owls in American Athletic Conference Football Championship game. The final score was 24-13. Greg was named Most Valuable Player of that game, where he produced a total of 236 yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. The next game was the Peach Bowl, also known as Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Houston Cougars battled against the Florida State Seminoles. The Seminoles were very impressive and outstanding team, led by future NFL stars such as Jalen Ramsey and Dalvin Cook. But those stars are not enough against the Houston Cougars. Houston Cougars crushed the Florida State Seminoles 38-24 in the final game of the season. The Houston Cougars ended the season with a 13 wins and 1 loss record. In 2016 season, Greg Ward Jr. improved his stats, but the team had a disappointing season. Head coach Tom Herman, he resigned right before the Las Vegas Bowl, the final game of the season. They ended the season with 9 wins and 4 losses. Throughout his junior and senior season, he threw for 6,384 yards and 43 touchdowns. He also rushed for 1,632 yards and 31 rushing touchdowns. In the span of 2 years, from 2015 to 2016, only 2 quarterbacks in college had 6,000 passing yards and 1,500 rushing yards. It was Greg Ward Jr. and Deshaun Watson, the future quarterback for Houston Texans. Greg Ward Jr. also had the most rushing yards by a quarterback in Houston Cougars history and tied the most rushing touchdowns. With all accolades and awards, a lot of teams still think Greg Ward Jr. does not fit as a quarterback in the league. In an article in the Sports Illustrated, it was noted that NFL teams were trying to decide what to do with Greg Ward Jr. as a prospect. He was an undersized quarterback, and a lot of teams don't know where to put him, so they put him in a gray area, meaning they're unsure what position he can play. He was invited to an NFL Combine, but not as a quarterback, but as a wide receiver. Unfortunately, he can't participate in NFL Combine because of his ankle injury. So, Greg Ward Jr. went undrafted in the 2017 NFL Draft. On May 11, 2017, the Philadelphia Eagles signed Greg Ward Jr. as an undrafted rookie. He was waived right before the season started and later joined the Eagles practice squad the following day. He was in the practice squad when the Philadelphia Eagles won the 2017 Super Bowl, but he was released right before the 2018 season started. On January 1st, 2019, he signed with the San Antonio Commanders of the Alliance of American Football, or AAF, a new football league. Unfortunately, the AAF ended in just 8 weeks due to bankruptcy by April 7, 2019. After the season, Ward mentioned in Eagles Insider, a Philadelphia Eagles podcast, that he was looking for a normal office job and an opportunity to play for an NFL team again. It was on April 9, 2019 when the Eagles called him and signed him again. According to PennLive.com, a website for sports and news in Pennsylvania, there were 16 transactions between Greg Ward Jr. and the Philadelphia Eagles in his career. Week 12 of NFL season, Nelson Aguilar, Alshon Jeffrey, and Deshaun Jackson were all injured that week. Ward took advantage of it and caught 6 passes for 40 yards. On December 9, 2019, his dream of catching a pass for a touchdown was shattered. Ward caught a touchdown pass from Carson Wentz, but they called it back because of a holding penalty. He still had a nice game and caught 4 passes for 34 yards. The next game, they faced the Washington Redskins. He had his best game of the season. He led the team with 7 catches for 61 yards and scored his first ever NFL touchdown in the season against Redskins cornerback Josh Norman. In the post-game video by Scott Grayson, a sports anchor for Fox 29 in Philadelphia, Greg Ward Jr. was asked about his transition in the AAF to catching a game-winner touchdown against the Redskins. He said, "You always think about that. I wasn't going to quit until I did it, and today showed that I am very thankful, and everything goes to God, man. Without him, I wouldn't be even in this position." With all the detours and hurdles, Greg Ward Jr. was so focused and determined with his end goal in mind. Greg Ward Jr.'s tenacious attitude proved that anyone can follow their dreams through hard work and dedication.